Hello and good day. Welcome to the part 5 of our Excel VBA Userform tutorial. So previously we have added the controls that we need for our add new profile user form, and today we're gonna start with the adding code with all of these controls. So in order to start, we need to insert value first with these controls like combo boxes and list box when we load the user form, because if you will notice when we click start now, if we will test that user form, there's no value yet here, so the user can select any value that she or he wants. So let's start with that. And okay, so just click anywhere in the user form like this, and you should be landed on this user form click event, but that's not the event that we need. So go to this drop down, the event drop down, if that's how they call it, and look for the initialize event, which is what we need. And let's just delete this for now because we don't need that. Okay, so now here in our user form, the first thing that we need to add value or item is the drop down for our age um, field. So that's CBO age. So going here, I'll be using age. I'll just add age, and then let's add CBO age, which is the name of our drop down for age. And to add items, you can use the add item command. So for example, add 19, but what I want is 18 to 70 years. So instead of adding them all manually, I'll be just using a for loop. So for a is equals to 18 to 70 next a, and it will add whatever the value of a. So I think we can test that. So here I have now 18 to 70 item, but if you will explore this, you will see that you can type a character in this field, which should not be allowed. So uh, in order to check that or to restrict that, you need to change the property which called the style. So just select the drop down control and go to this style property, and make sure to select the second item or the number 2. And once you select that, if you will press it again, you will see that you can no longer type any characters here. The only thing that you can select are those items that are available for this drop down. So if ever you type 59, so that's correct because that's one of the options. But again, the string is now restricted for this control. So before we proceed further, let me just change the style property of all the combo box that I have here, and then let's work on the birthday. So the next thing is the month combo box. But I think I don't know a shortcut to add all the months here, but I know another workaround for that. So if ever you don't want to use the add item or with command, you can use the row source property of this combo box. But before you do that, make sure to have a reference worksheet. So for example, I'll be adding a list worksheet here where I will list all the month, all the calendar month, and oops, okay, and then I'll just add that to the row source property of this combo box. So look for the row source property, and the formula or the format is the name of the worksheet, and then the range. So what we use is A1 to A12. So if you will test that, you can see now all the item within the range that we provided or we inserted in the row source property. Okay, the next is month or the day and the year, but I'll be not using row source property for that, so I can use that add item. So day, let's use a for loop again. So 1 to 31, that's the standard count of days. Okay, and then for the year, I want, I think 1990 to 2010. Okay, and let's test that. Okay, and now the segment of course. So with CBO segment, that add item. Okay, I think IT department, HR, management, what else? Security, civil service. Okay, I think that's enough. And then let's just check it. Okay, we have now the segment options, and the last thing that we need to work with is the subject items. So well, that is just easy. It's just the same with how we add items with the other combo boxes. So here, just use with again, and that is LST subject. So let's add math. That's my favorite. English, science. I'm not sure if you know this. Okay, and let's check if we have now all the items that we need. So these are the subjects that I just added. All the combo box or have items or options. So now we need to add now a code on our save button, and the first thing that we need to check is that all the fields here are populated. We should be there should be at least one option selected for the gender, and then all the check boxes or combo boxes for the birthday and segment, and at least one subject for this list box. So to begin with that, just double click on the save button, and uh, I'll just declare a message box title variable. So I'll use private constant m title. It stands for message box title, and that is equals to add new profile. Okay, wrong spelling. Okay, so again we need to check that all fields are populated, so we need to use this variable again, and by default the value should be null, and the first field that we need to check is the first name text box. So if txt_fname.value is equal to null, then let's add value to our mfields variable. If txt_name.value, and next one is email. And okay, the next one is the age. So I'll just copy this. That's CBO age. It should be age, and then the next is the gender. So we need to make sure that there should be at least one option selected. So in order to do that is that if OPT male that value is equals to false and OPT female that value is equals to false, then in fields and okay, gender, Okay, so if both OPT male and OPT female is equals to false, means that they're both not, there's no selected item. We will add the gender in our mfields variable. The next item is the birthday, of course. So let's just copy this. So that's CBO month, and then another for day and year. This is CBO year. This is day. This is here. What else did I miss? And of course the segment. So segment. And I think the last is the list box. So we need to count how many is selected in the list box item. So I need to declare here a variable lst count as long. So let's have an initial value of 0. So for a is equals to 0 to lst subject that items, or lst subject that okay. What is the command? So lst count is equals to lst count plus 1. So if lst count is equals to 0, then mfields is equals to mfields and at least one subject. Okay, I think we have all that we need, so we can now check the value of our mfield. So if mfield is not equals to null, means that there's a missing field that was not populated or a control that is not selected. So let's have a message box that below fields are blank or not selected. You can use whatever message you want to use there, and let's add VB new line, and let's concat whatever the value of our mfields variable, and let's have here, oops, this should be a VB critical message, and this is the end title. Oops. Okay, it happened. I'll just use this. Okay, should be omitted, and be critical and the end title. So let's try it if our validation is working. So click save, like if it does. Oh my gosh. So let's have an end if here. Let's try it again. Oops. Oops. LSD subject. Object required. Cannot read it. What did I miss here? Let's try this. Okay. So let's try it again and click save. Oh, there's another one. Let's try it again. Click save, and okay, all are not populated. So let's try it. Okay. Okay, I think it's good now. So the next thing that we need to do after the validation is to send this information to our profile worksheet. So should all send here, but we need to have the ID here. So that's the first thing that we need to consider. So if ever that there's no missing field, let's add another else statement here. Uh, so let's check for the ID first. So I want the ID to start with I think for now let's use 700. So the first thing that I need to make sure if there's already a value within our profile worksheet, so I'll be checking that using the last row with value. Since we will be dealing with this user profile worksheet, I need to declare that worksheet, so I'll be using PSH and set that PSH to this worksheets profile. And now I'll be checking what's the last row with value, PSH. So I'll suppose that count one that end Excel up that row is equals to one. Then so what should be the ID? So I'll need to declare an ID variable here. By default it should be equals to 0. So if ever the last row with value is equals to 1, I need to set the what ID variable into 600. So our ID will start on that number, but else what ID should be equals to PSH okay. So if ever we have here number, like for example we have here 601, 602, I need to capture that last ID and increment it by 1. So that will be PSH that range A and row that value plus 1. So we can uh, use what should be the ID or what should be the next available ID. And after that, we can now send the information to our worksheet. But of course, we need to find out first what is the next available row. So we need to declare an lrow variable. So let's set the value to 0. And lrow is equals to psh cells. Close that count. Let's use the column A as reference. And of course, plus 1. So now the first column is what is the ID column, so PSH that range A, and whatever the value of last row is equals to what ID. Next one is the first name, so it should be equals to value of our txtf name. Next is the last name, and the email address. What else? The age. That's CVOH that value, and then the gender. So for the gender, it's different. So if of it male, that value is equal to true means selected, then PSH that range F, is it F? Okay. And L row, that value is equals to male, else, let's use else if PSH that range F and L row female. Okay, The next one is the birthday. So for birthday, should be the concatenation of our three combo boxes. So let's format it. So format, or let's just concatenate it. That's CBO month, that value, and space, and CBO day, that value. Let's add comma there, and of course the year, and then the segment, PSH range, that's letter H, plus your CBO segment, that value, and the last one is the favorite subjects. Okay, so for the subject, I need to create a loop again, so I'll declare a variable what subjects, a string, and let's give it an initial value of null. So for a is equals to 0 to, so because the items in a list box start with the index 0, so that's why I always start my loop to 0 to LSD subject, that list count minus 1 xa. Okay, so if LSD subject, let's selected a, then what subject, also what subject, and bb, that's the LSD subject, that list 0a. Oh, this is the index, so that's a and 0. Okay, and now that will capture all the selected subject in the list box subject. So psh that range I and a, or L row, sorry, was whatever value of our what subject variable. And the last is the added by and date added. So for the added by, that's column J. So that should be equal to whatever the value of our login name variable. Remember that this variable was declared in our module. So after the user, because in the final setup, after the user log in, whatever his or her login name should be stored in this public variable. So if ever you access the add new user form, the login name should still have a value, and whatever the value of that variable should be captured and sent to this row or column. And the last one is the date added. So date added will be equal to the format of now. Let's use this format. Okay, so I think we have added everything that we need for this user form. So I think let's have a message box once it's invalid that file has been added. It should be a PV information, and of course the title of our message box, and let's unload it. Since we don't have a button yet for the add new profile, so let me just use this button for now. So let me try Napoleon Hill, Napoleon at email.com, and okay, let's click save. Profile has been added. Let's check if that was added correctly. The ID was 600, and there's no added by because we did not initialize the login user form, so the login variable doesn't have a value. So the date added here is correct. but okay, I want a date added format similar with what I used here. So if that is not working as expected, you need to concat that with the single quote character. So let me just delete that for now and let's try it again. And birthday, let's choose a sample birthday here. Save and let's check. Okay, it's showing now what I want. Okay, and let's add another one. And right now, let's use Robert Kiyosaki. Robert at sample.com. Let's mail. Let's use a sample birthday and save. Okay, so I think it's working as expected. The ID 601 because the last item prior to this is 600, so it's working as expected. And let's just add a code to the cancel button. So right now let's use the load me. Later I will explain why. So I think there's only one missing user form here, which will be the main profile user form. So please watch out for the next video for that. Thank you for watching this one.